right, now, hello. The lights, I hope, are not too annoying. The glare. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Katie with Heritage Ways. Um, we use the Miss Katie, because I am from the South, Southern, born and bred in Tennessee. And the Miss and Mister, that's just what we do out of just respect. I mean, I call, if I know for sure that you're older than me, I'll say me, and some people my age, or I'll say Miss so and so. And that's just what we do, whether you're married or not, MISS quotation or MIZ. Um, and Mr. So that's why we do the Miss Katie. I mean, that's just how, what we do here on the channel. That's why we use that. Y'all, I'm 55 years old, and I do not or almost, I will be this August, Lord willing. I do not understand all this technology. I am here to tell you, this live business, I love doing it. Like, I could sit here and talk to y'all for 2 hours, but it's the getting it set up. Oh my stars. I always have a problem with that. And I won't get into all the whining about it that I could do, but in order to set up a link ahead of time and share it with y'all. Now, remember, this is coming from somebody who doesn't understand what she's doing. I don't even understand the technology or the terminology. But to make a link ahead of time and share it, well, I got to do it on Chrome. And then I went over there and I pushed the button just a while ago that said go live, and it kept spinning saying going live. And then I thought, originally I thought I could do this on my phone so that I could just shine it down and you could see what I'm doing with my soup. Well, I couldn't figure that out either, y'all. So for y'all that think I know what I'm doing with making videos, bless your heart. I appreciate y'all and all your comments. Y'all just, so many people said, you're just such a professional. Well, I am glad I have you fooled. That is nice to know. I just want to walk in and just start cooking and talking. I don't want to understand all this stuff. So I apologize that we had to jump over to a new link. I've got to figure this out. I have got to figure this out. Well, so my computer's way up here, so I'm not going to be able to type easily, but here's what I'm doing. I'm on my phone and I have logged in because, like I say, I don't know what I'm doing, refer to that. Excuse me. May answer you from my other account. We have just set up another account called Hope for Home by Heritage Ways, and it's got like 2 videos on it right now, just because I've moved them over from the other channel because I was experimenting. And I may comment from Hope for Home by Heritage Ways, but that's me if I comment. So let me go over here and find where we are. Oh, and I can see myself. Well, that's odd. Okay, I've got the volume down. So I've got this here. Hello to everybody. Thank you, Dunya, for the confidence. Hey, Tina. Thank you for the grace there, Mary. Mary Elizabeth. I love that name. My middle name's Elizabeth, Okay, so I will probably comment from here because it's not way up there, and also it just makes sense to me, which doesn't usually make sense to other people. I've got my water because y'all know when I start talking, I start coughing, but I hope you've got something to drink. I went on Instagram a while ago and let them know that we would be here. And again, this is just meant to be a chat. I might chat until 2:00, which is an hour. Well, at this point, it's 45 minutes. You're welcome to come and go. You're welcome to come back later if you need to. But what I will do about I can't think straight. I'm flustered. what I will do about the soup, hope y'all don't mind. I'm going to be moving around just like y'all are sitting right here. You are welcome here. The soup. What I'm going to do is when I make the soup here in a second, I'm actually going to film it, and I'm going to use that and have it just its own video for the people that just came for the soup recipe, which that's fine. So if you came for just the soup recipe, just know that the 2-ingredient, 2-minute soup will be in its own video either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how today goes. Actually, it won't be tonight because after I do this, I've got something else to do. Then I pick up Mr. Patient at work, and then I take Mr. Little Music Man for a haircut, and then I come home and make supper. But speaking of supper, what I want to do right now is after I get that soup made, I'll tell y'all that, I want to start supper, and we'll chat. You can ask me questions about what I'm making, and you might pick up a tip or a recipe or something like that. Yes, I do. I've got this shirt on again. I love this shirt so much. And I've had so many people ask me about this shirt over on Instagram because I'm new over there and they're just now seeing me in this shirt. But I will tell you that, hold on, somebody texted me and okay, it's my uncle. This shirt, it is a Heritage Way shirt, but I love it because doesn't feel so boxy. I mean, I'm a little puffy. And it doesn't feel so boxy. Plus, it's not long sleeves. And, it's 3/4 length sleeves. I'm not a t-shirt and a jersey type person, but I have said before, I'm not going to tell you how often I do not wash this shirt. I thought about washing it this morning, and I was like, y'all can't smell me, so we're good. And I don't think it has food on it. Speaking of that, I'm going to get my apron on. And y'all are welcome to. Y'all, can you tell that the house is quiet? Anybody notice the house is quiet? Look here, I love talking to y'all at lunchtime. So I wouldn't mind doing this again, but I'd have to figure out how to set us up without, having blood pressure problems. Well loved, Mary Elizabeth, that's what we are. Or you say you are. I'm not saying I've never met you, but I am well loved, generous, and puffy. Okay, and I'm not. It's okay. All right. Got my apron on. So anyway, about the shirt, I have a link. You can. The link is if you care about it and want to know, I'll put the link. Link is in most of our videos, but I will put it in this description box after this is over. I'll go and after it processes, and it will be on YouTube, and I'll have the link down below. But I love this shirt. It's lightweight. It's kind of form, but not. It just doesn't feel box. It's just comfortable. All right, enough of the shirt. Let's see here. All right, so that is. It's funny to look at this and see myself delayed. Okay. Whew. Somebody come on here who knows what they're doing. They're going to think that woman, bless her heart. All right. I am waiting on a battery to charge before I can tell you the soup. But let me tell you the 2 optional ingredients right here. 2 optional ingredients are mushrooms. And these are kind of dried out a little bit because they were in the refrigerator uncovered. So that's okay, especially for this soup. And green onions, completely optional. These are kind of dirty and stuff. So let's turn over here to my sink and I'll get those washed and chopped on the bias, which means at an angle. So this soup is also super cheap and healthy and a comfort food. And I've been wanting to share it for a while and make a video, but I haven't made much new material lately because of doing our taxes and just stuff, life. I'm driving Mr. Patient, not driving Miss Daisy. But driving Mr. Patient, y'all know he had eye surgery Took him to the doctor yesterday for a checkup, and he's on track. He should be able to see by himself, drive by himself in about 3 weeks. So that's good. The doctor says the gas bubble has gone down to only 30% out of 100, so that's good. So anyway, I haven't made a lot of new material. I do have some new videos over on Patreon. Some I put out some on Patreon. I put out some just to the top tiers. I put some to the top 3 tiers. I put some that are public. I do different things over there. So on Patreon. I like to think of it as a YouTube plus, like an extension of YouTube kind of thing. All right, so I've got, if you have questions about anything, really, honestly, I mean, I don't have to answer them if it's something I think I don't want to answer, but you can ask. If you're new to me, you don't know who I am or what in the world's going on over here, what we do. If you want to know anything about cooking or food, I will say this too. If you're just hopping on here and you just wanted that soup recipe, it will be extracted. The recipe will be put in a separate video of its own, and I will have that on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow, Lord willing. I am Katie, Heritage Ways, and I used to say we honor home, celebrate heritage, and spread hope, and we still do that. But I've kind of changed up for the new year, and I wanted to change up some of the things that I say and the way I say them, so that they make so they're more relevant to people. So I like to say now that I am helping people to create or cook up blah. Do I really? Cook up a cozy home with old-fashioned family values, because that's what we do. We're cooking, and I feel like this year I have decided to embrace what folks have said about our home, whatever home we've lived in, for the whole time we've been married. And I battled with that for a little bit because I don't want it to sound prideful, but I have kept a guest book, a guest book for the whole time we've been married. My mama did, and I have hers, and it's just fun to look back, and fun and sad, and because we can look back and say, oh, that person came and now they've passed on. And a lot of people write little notes in that guest book, and a guest book is just when people come and I say, you mind signing my guest book, and they just write their name and the date and maybe a little thing like we had fun at the party or whatever. And a lot of times, and I'm very thankful, a lot of times folks just say, your home is just so cozy, or I felt so at home. And one recurring family member from actually another country always wrote in there, she said, your home is like a bed and breakfast, just to come and enjoy. So I want to share with my friends, viewership going forward. I hope I'm not distracting you looking that way. It's a window, and I'm just used to looking out the window, so I'm going to try not to. But I've been praying the first of the year, Lord, what do you want me to do with Heritage Ways? I mean, what do you want me to do? I feel like I'm spinning my wheels because I've got so much content and I can't get it all done, and different platforms, and what do folks need that I can provide, and that is when I felt he clearly said it was fine to go back to Instagram. So I'm at Instagram at Heritage Ways Katie. When I get to 500 followers over there, I'm going to give away a cookbook. But also, I felt like he was just giving me the go ahead to somehow not maybe teach or direct or encourage or inspire folks to have a home that might be something that folks could say that about your home that they've written about our home for years. And I'm not all that. Like Dolly Parton says, I'm not all that, and sometimes I'm not all there. And I'm not. But whatever I've done through the years that has made folks say, we love just being in your home, that's what I want to bring to my viewers and audience and friends going forward. Does that make sense? So that is why I want to start saying that I help folks create or help folks cook up a cozy home with full of old fashioned family values, because that's what we are. So we're not changing anything except maybe a little tagline. Um, Now, yes, so, the thing, Mary Elizabeth, is I try so hard to keep up with and remember everybody's username and your real name. And I do try hard because that's important to me to stay in communication. In fact, a lot of the I haven't responded to tons of comments on my videos yet because I want to write something personal and then I don't have time for that. So that's something I battle with. I need to be okay with, Katie, give them a heart and let them know you read your video comment, and because I can't respond to everybody, but I don't want you to quit commenting because I love the communication in the comments. The guest book, it was hard for me to find for a while, but I've actually found many at Amish stores. I go to Amish stores around here. And when I say that, I mean Amish owned and Mennonite owned, mostly Amish owned, and they have guest books. So, but before that, when we were in Middle Tennessee, I mean, I would go to the Hallmark store. I would go all kinds of places, and I could not find guest books that were intended for that. And they have them for weddings, but I'm talking about they also have them for, just every day for your home. So, um, yes, I wish I had done something like that. And you can start now. I mean, I don't care how old you are. I'm talking in general, not the person, not Diana that wrote this, but start now. Start. I'm 55. Well, I keep saying that. I'm 54, but I will be 55 if the Lord doesn't tarry and if He's willing this August. And I've learned it is not too late to start something. I mean, I'm teaching myself all kinds of things, technology wise. Well, apparently I haven't taught myself enough, right? But start anytime. And it's so folks that come repeatedly to our home. Um, Especially in Tennessee, because they knew us there for years. They just knew, the guest book sitting out, and it's sitting there with a pen, and that's what I do. I sign it before I leave their house. And my sister does the same thing. She keeps one too. She's 8 years younger than me. But she keeps one too. And it's just a joy. I mean, now we can look back, and our mama has passed on. We can look back and see the comments that she wrote. She's the one that inspired us to begin with to keep those guest books. So I would be curious to know, y'all comment and let me know if that's something you want to start doing. Um, you don't have to buy a special book. Get yourself some sort of a spiral notebook, or it doesn't have to be spiral. Get yourself, one of those journal notebook, composition books they're called, and put put you a bunch of stickers or cut you some. Um, I still have a hard time recollecting words since I had virus. Scrapbook paper. Get you some scrapbook paper and cut it out, and get you some washi tape and do a trim on the outside, and or make yourself a little title page or something, and that's all you need. All you need is just a book with lines in it. Um, be creative. It does not have to cost you much money. You can buy a notebook for cheap. And the scrapbook papers that I get are 25 cents or whatever they are, 35 at Hobby Lobby. So that's something I didn't plan on talking about today, but I'm glad that I brought that up for y'all. And I'd like for y'all to tell me, excuse me, is that something that you have never done, or you've always done, or you think, I think I might try that? So you can let me know about a guest book there in the comments. So Um, I wish I had a double. I wish I had a clone. The problem is, remember that movie with, is it Michael Keaton years ago? And he had this multiplicity and he had a clone, but the clones kept getting dumber each time. So he decided clones are not a good thing. So, um, yeah, so start a guest book. And it may be weird to your friends. And sometimes it's been weird for me to ask certain people, like they didn't know me that well and they were at our home because we've invited, that's another story, but we've invited people to our home we didn't know. So that's a whole nother conversation. But I'd say, to make myself feel better or not so weird, I'd say, hey, can you sign my guest book for the drawing at the end of the day or end of the night or something? And something to like that. But I've told many people when they sign it, I said, thank you for doing that because it just is a good souvenir of my life. Really? I mean, I have my mother's guest book. Let me tell you this story real quick. I have my mother's guest book, and from 1966 is when my parents got married. And they lived in the same town as Mr. Patient's parents. Our families knew each other. And I was looking after my mama died. I got her guest books and I was looking and Mr. Patient's parents had come to my parents' house when I was a year old. I'm a year older than Mr. Patient. So I was a year old and Mr. Patient's mama was pregnant with Mr. Patient at the time that they signed the book. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So I love looking back at the guest books. All right. I'm just reading your comments here. Yes, I think that's great because, I know there is not, she says, starting a book in a new time in her life. I know there's not a lot of visiting maybe in some places going on right now. Here, it's not like that. We're visit and hug and all that stuff. But some places it's not, some facilities it's not. But still, it's really a good thing to have, in my opinion. All right. So let me go ahead and I will slice these real quick and then we'll get on with the soup recipe. And then honestly, I'm going to start supper. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to have and I'll start making it. And you can let me know if you have questions or what have you. One thing I do in the kitchen is I always have the trash can out when I'm cooking. I usually have the compost out too. Well, that stays out. But I have the trash sitting there and I can take things directly to the trash can. So I'm going to slice. We're going to talk about the recipe now, and in a few minutes I'll turn the camera on for that video portion. But I'm going to slice on the bias, which means angled, these 3 green onions. I'm going to be getting, Mr. Patient's going to order me a new phone, except it's not going to be the newest update. It's going to be one that he just got because I think he's tired of me using his camera. It's such a good one. And so I think he's going to order me one and we're going to count it as a business expense because I'm going to use that to make videos. So maybe next time I can use that to do a live. I kind of butchered those, but number 1, I got arthritis in my wrist today, and number 2, they were kind of old. All right. And then I'm just going to slice a few mushrooms, probably 3. But like I said, these 2 that I just now did, onions and mushrooms, are optional. Now, the soup I'm going to make, you have heard of, okay? You've heard of it. And I did not give you the name that you've heard of because If you're like my Mr. Patient, the name kind of might turn you off. So you curious yet? Ooh. Gumbo. I made some the other day. I have gumbo in my new cookbook if you're interested, folks. I say new cookbook. It's my latest cookbook. I'm writing my third one, but I have this one. And I only have, I just got 100 more cookbooks. So I've got 100, but several of those are going to go to a shop or more than one shop. So I've got about 50 to sell, and I'm not going to buy any after that. Not this year, because I'm writing my third one. So I do have gumbo in that cookbook. It's so good. That is something that I will not be making a public video about, because my special secret gumbo spice roux mix is my little secret. All right. Okay, so back to the soup then. I think I'm going to bring y'all closer over here if you don't mind moving. I am. Techie. All right. So yeah, do you have anybody have questions or comments, or if you're new to us? Most of the folks I see up there are not new to us, so I don't necessarily need to tell you about myself or my family. I will say, I told you a while ago the house is quiet. That's because the kids, the two younger ones, are at homeschool play day, and John and Jay are outside taking a walk. John has a new channel with him and his dog. It's the JJ team. My friend Mary at Mary's Nest gave them that name. All right. So we're going to start in on this soup. And it's going to, when I talk, it's going to sound kind of, more like a video, because like I just said, I'm going to make it a video. So you're going to basically see a video in action, I guess. I thought this would be better for people who just wanted the recipe. And it's on. Okay. All right. To make this soup, it's actually called egg drop soup. Egg drop soup. And you see it in Asian restaurants. Well, a lot of folks think they don't care for Asian food. One of those would be my husband. And that's fine. But I tried this soup the other day, and he enjoyed it. So as long as I didn't use a name, he's not against, he just doesn't care for Asian food in general. And he just, different people like different types of food. His favorite type of food is Mexican food, but he just doesn't care for Asian type food like I do and our middle son Morgan does. So I made this the other day and didn't tell him the name, and he loved it. So that's why I didn't tell you the name, because I didn't want you to think, oh, no, I don't eat Asian food. So I did tell you it takes about 2 minutes, and that is true. If you don't count, the heating up to the broth, depending on how hot your broth is. So basically, 3 cups of broth. If it's already has salt and pepper, that's fine, or you can put some salt and pepper. I use white pepper for this. So we're heating our 3 cups of broth. You can defat it. You can do homemade broth. You can do boxed broth, canned. You can take the fat off if you want to. Then I'm going to crack 2 eggs into this bowl, which I love, this pottery bowl made right here by a lady in the village. This is kind of a fun soup, and it's kind of amazing the way it turns out. Something you could try that you hadn't thought of before. All right, this is almost, we just want to get it to boiling. Now, we do have 2 optional ingredients. You do not have to use those. These are ingredients that I made up, or not made up, but I got the idea from going to an Asian restaurant. But egg drop soup is technically, I don't think, has these 2 ingredients, but I'm going to go ahead and add those now while the broth is coming up to boil, which it almost is. And that is about 3 mushrooms and about 3 green onions or scallions. The onions the mushrooms, you can use dehydrated and then just put them in here, and the cooking will rehydrate those. But again, the mushrooms and the green onions are optional. All right, so I'm just going to take these 2 eggs and I'm just going to scramble them as if I were making scrambled eggs. There we go. And then this is up to a boil. I'm going to let it come to a boil. And then I'm going to add my eggs, and I'm going to kind of swirl them. When I pour them in there, I'm going to swirl them with a fork and turn this off. In fact, I'll turn it off as soon as I pour them in because they will cook just like that. This is such a surprising comfort food. And think how inexpensive or even cheap or free this could be for many folks. If you have your own chickens, you have your own eggs. You can, omit the mushrooms and the scallions, and just have broth intentionally. If you made the broth intentionally, or if you had it as a byproduct from cooking chicken, either one, this could be a free, healthy comfort food for you and your family. So I will actually write this recipe on my website, and I will put a link in the bottom of this video for you to go to my website and get a printable version, a printable recipe. But it's just chicken broth with the eggs in it. I don't turn this all the way up to high because my flame would go out from around my pan, and I want the flame under my pan. This is Revere ware that got when we got married, and used it ever since. All right, at this point, I'm literally just going to turn this off, and I'm going to put my eggs in here, and I'm going to just swirl it with a fork, and it's done. It's done. that is the egg drop soup. Very healthy, very delicious, simple, could even be free, and it's certainly very inexpensive. All right, friends. So now I have that video that I can put out, and that's how it's done, except on a really quick scale. It's not how it's done. Now let's see what y'all say. You write your comments. I'm actually going to taste this. Let me get me a bowl here. Yeah, let me get me a soup bowl. And that is how the soup is done. And let me get me I can get me a picture for thumbnail. You are getting the inside scoop today. All right, then I'm going to start supper here in a minute. We've got about 10 minutes before we hang up with each other. But anyway, there it is. It's may not look appetizing to you. I don't know. I think it's great. Look. I think it's great. All right. Now, if you want more salt, you can do that. Let me get a spoon. Taste it, and then we'll go to the next thing I'm going to do. Let me read your... Oh, thank you, Sam. That's very sweet. Thank you for that support. All right. Now, I'm going to read while I'm tasting. I'm going to look up here with my bifocals. Yes, Lisa, you can mail a check. Do you know the price? Because the check, if you mail a check for a cookbook, it's cheaper than if you pay on PayPal. That light is in our way. PayPal charges me crazy fees, so I have to pass them on to the consumer. Sorry, but I do. That's how it works. But I think it's like $2 cheaper if you buy a cookbook using a check. Pretty sure that's right. This is hot. But see, all I did is just put those eggs in there and it cooked them. I mean, you don't even, I turned it off and put those eggs in there. So as long as I don't call this an Asian food name, my family will eat it, or Mr. Patient will eat it. Isn't that weird that people, we're all have our interesting ways of believing or doing things. Okay, see that, first of all, the broth is very good. I need extra salt. So if you need to know, Lisa or anybody, the price of the cookbooks, all that information's on my website too. It gives you a PayPal link, but it also tells you can mail a check, and it's, I don't know how much cheaper it is, but it's a couple dollars cheaper, I think. Green onions, that's right. Cheap and healthy go hand in hand. So I was watching the other day on Pluto TV. One of y'all told me about it. We didn't know about that website. Mr. Patient and I have started loving watching Rick Stein's shows. He travels and he eats and cooks. And they're older, like 2019 and 20 and 17. And he's traveled around different regions. Excuse me. And one common denominator that he pointed out, and it's true about this soup too, but regions, countries, peoples use their native food is just basic and using what they have. So you got broth from cooking a chicken, and you've got the eggs and put them together, and you got a free, really healthy, comforting food. And so just basic native people's food. In other words, if this originated, I say Asia because I don't know Chinese, Japanese. I don't know all that as far as where it came from. But also, I learned from Rick that it's so good to pair. No, I read this in my More with Less cookbook, that it's so good to pair foods that grow together. Now, a chicken broth and egg that kind of grows together ish, kind of. This is so super good. I love the mushrooms. Sorry to eat in front of y'all, but maybe it's lunchtime for you or almost. Lisa, I was talking to somebody just a while ago when I dropped the kids off that I need to learn about gluten-free diet, gluten and diabetic diets and things like that so I can help folks. But she says this shouldn't spike any sugar levels. And it's comforting. I said that already, but it's filling. Okay, I'll drink the rest of that in a minute. Corn. Okay. Say, well, you could do whatever, right? She wants to know if the cookbook's $21. I don't remember right offhand. I'd have to, it's on the website. If you go to heritageways.com and you go to, I made it the first menu bar thing at the top left. When you're looking at the menu, it says Katie's recipe books and it also says cookbooks. So if whatever you type in, you find it. And then on the page, it tells about my 2 cookbooks, like it describes them, it shows the cover. And then it has a PayPal button, but it also has, you can send a check and it tells how much the check is, how much to send it to, and just make it out to Heritage Ways, Lisa, or anybody, if you're interested in buying one. But I for sure have 48 more that I can sell, maybe more than that, depending on how much I use at the stores. I've talked to a lady about putting them in a store, and I don't know how many she's going to want. All right, so we've got, 10 minutes. If you want to see what I'm making for supper, I'm actually going to turn this around again because I feel like the lights it's just so bright in here. And I'm going to turn this off here, but where I was commenting from my new channel. If you're just jumping on here, I went ahead and started a new channel. It's called Hope for Home by Heritage Ways. And that's where Mr. Patient and I are probably going to share a little bit more of the chats and the more seriousness, whereas Heritage Ways will be a little bit more about home keeping and cooking specifically. So I won't really be putting out more material. I'll just be dividing it up a little bit. So I gotta have one more. This is my lunch hour, by the way. All right. So I'm making for supper. Let's talk about menu planning. Y'all want to talk about that for a couple of minutes? Right here on the door, I have in a plastic sleeve the menu. Do I always go by it? No, because I'm a spontaneous loving girl. And if I see those bananas and I decide we're going to do something else for supper, I do it. So I do veer from my menu a lot. But I do try to go by it, especially here lately, because there are people in my home who like to be on a routine. John Boy likes to have an understanding of what is before him in this day, in this week, in this month, in his life. Bless his heart. So he likes to know what to expect. So I have planned for tonight. Where are we? Salmon patties, pea salad, and my cousin's baked rice recipe, which almost stars is delicious. Fried cabbage, which I'm not going to have. I'm probably going to do coleslaw and tartar sauce. Now, the pea salad, I've got the peas in the sink thawing, and I put boiled eggs in it. Well, I found out a while ago, Little Miss Homemaker and Little Music Man. When I was getting my hair dried upstairs, and I hollered down, I said, "Get yourself something to eat so I can take you to homeschool play group." And so as we're walking out the door, I said, "What'd y'all eat for lunch?" And they both said, "Your boiled eggs that are in the refrigerator." I said, "Okay, that was for my pea salad for supper." But I'm like, good. I'm glad y'all found something and you like boiled eggs. So there. I'll boil some more in the Instant Pot here in a little bit. So I will be getting the salmon patties together. I do have pea salad video here on YouTube, but quite honestly, I don't care for that video necessarily, so I'll be making a new one. The baked rice is absolutely delicious. It's high sodium though. And it's going to be in my next cookbook. But I think what I'll put together right now before I hang up with y'all is a dip that I've been needing to put together. But y'all, it's just that we've got a video of this too. Little Miss Homemaker is making this in our former farmhouse, the last farmhouse that we had. And this is just the standard Knorr spinach dip. But I'll tell you a couple of things that I do differently. I mean, we pretty much go by the recipe, but I just think it's not worth eating without the water chestnuts. So they've been a little bit hard to find, and I was able to find them at our small grocery store today. And so these are whole. Well, those are sliced, but these are whole right here. So I'm just going to chop those up, and I need to drain the spinach. Now, one thing I do differently with this spinach dip, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard of this or eaten it. Have you? It's eaten cold. And let me drain these. It's eaten cold. And typically at Christmas time, but quite honestly, we did not have it at Christmas time. I don't remember, because I had bronchitis at Christmas time. I don't remember a lot of stuff back then. All right, so we're just going to chop these. And I just love them. I love the crunch of water chestnuts. Now, my adult sons do not. But hey, it's my kitchen, plus they're not here, sadly. Mr. Patient likes them, and he's the one I want to please anyway. I tell my kids, if you don't like something, you're just going to pick it out or something, because I'm not catering to everybody's whim. All right, we got about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to sign off here, and then I will sit down and I will work on the soup video by itself. I'll also put a link to some things we've talked about. I am doubling this recipe because we all love it, especially Little Miss Homemaker and Mr. Patient do love it. So the recipe for this, and this is just something, it's not really for supper necessarily, it's just for snack, is on the back. Now, I'm going to say, this does have cornstarch, which I'm not thrilled about. It does have the yeast extract, which I'm not thrilled about, and then about 4 other things I'm not thrilled about. So I'm actually got it on my mental to-do list to come up with a recipe that will be a wonderful substitute for this package. It's spices and thickeners, basically. Does have tomato powder. Okay, we can figure that out. Onion powder and dehydrated vegetables. So I am going, that's one thing, I've got a list of I've got notebooks of things I want to do in life and things I want to bring to you. But so yeah, that's but this calls for, one recipe, and I'm doubling it. So one recipe calls for a thing of this, a bag of this, 16 ounces of sour cream or non-fat Greek yogurt. And I will use my homemade yogurt and sour cream. I will do a mixture. 1 cup of mayonnaise. Sometimes I make my own, but usually not. And 1 or a 10-ounce box. Remember when the 10-ounce bags used to be huge and now they're like that? That's 10 ounces. So 10 ounces of spinach, frozen. It says cooked and squeezed dry. I never cook it. I just squeeze it dry. And then 1 can of water chestnuts. So I got 2 since we're doubling this. And 3 green onions chopped. Now my dad loves onions like I do, and he puts a whole onion. He chops it and puts it in here. You can do that too if you want to. Especially if it's a sweet onion or a Vidalia onion, because whoop whoop, Vidalia, we love them. One thing I do with this though is I usually double the spinach even with 1 recipe. So, or I like to have extra spinach in it. So, well, thanks for joining me today, y'all. We've talked for an hour. I apologize again for the crazy at the beginning. I just I'm gonna have to I don't know. I don't understand all that technology, but thank you so much. And if you would like me to attempt this again in the future, let me know. Maybe I can get somebody to help me figure out that live button and stuff. But let me know. And I just hope that you're counting your blessings. And one more thing I want to tell you. So I told you back in the summer that I was hoping we would hit, or expecting to hit, 10,000 subscribers. Well, we did. But we did back, I think it was the fall, and then Mr. Patient and I were so sick and blah, blah, blah. All this happened. Christmas and everything. Well, I am going to have a live to celebrate the 10,000, which now we're over 11,000 subscribers. Thank you, Lord. But I'm going to have a live. I am going to give away an apron, one of my Town Day aprons. And so we're going to do that. I'm looking at a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, possibly, maybe a Saturday, and in March. And so I had to get some other things out of the way first before I planned that, because I want to have giveaways and do things like that to celebrate and to thank y'all for being here. So if you wouldn't mind, if you'll spread the word that Heritage Ways YouTube is worth watching for certain folks, maybe not. But if you know somebody who would enjoy our content, I hope that you would share that with them. And I will check on here and see what y'all are saying, and then I'm gonna sign out. Yes, I hope y'all do try it. Tanya's here. I know that a lot of y'all had to work, but or do have to work, and what I mean is your lunch hour is not at this time, is what I mean. We're all working. So Tanya, you can go back and watch. I will make this able to be watched later, and I also, if I did it right, I will have the setting, the comments where people can see those after the fact. It is a Hoosier. It's my Aunt Coriel's Hoosier. Okay. My hairdresser told me about that chestnut thing wrapped in bacon and sprinkled with brown sugar. Oh, my stars, I'd eat every one of them. Oh, my stars. That sounds delicious. Thank you, Karen. I got those done. Like, I never get my nails done at a real place, and I got those done. So, thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right. Okay. I've read the comments, and I'm going to sign off. And I really do love and appreciate you all. And I will see you next time. Count your blessings. Bye-bye.